Nothing I see means anything. A Course in Miracles, Day 1, Lesson 1. The first thing this makes me think of is the Tony Robbins lesson, nothing has any meaning except the meaning that I give it. We are meaning-making machines. So we're looking out at a universe of neutrality, and we get to make of it what we would like based on our perception and belief. For example, we evoke meaning from and we give meaning to every experience, every interaction. So if I am to show up to an interaction with a person and I'm boisterous and I'm playful and I'm high energy, I will probably evoke high energy, a delighted response, joy, play from the person I'm interacting with. On the other hand, if I show up to that same interaction with anger and low energy and just a nasty countenance, I'm probably going to evoke from that person defensiveness, shutting down, anger thrown back at me. I'm evoking meaning from a potentially neutral interaction. We can also give meaning to, for example, if I show up to an interaction and somebody else is angry or nasty to me, I can give meaning to that and think, oh, I must be worthless. I must be a bad person. I must have done something wrong and I should feel guilty and shameful. Or I can show up, that person can, project anger and defensiveness onto me, and I can apply a different meaning. That person's probably having a bad day. They're probably in pain or scared of something or both, and they don't know how to digest it or handle it just yet, and they're projecting it onto the world around them. It's not personal. Maybe I can show up with compassion and boundaries and honesty. So same interaction, different interpretation and meaning that I've given to it, and I have a different experience. Has the interaction changed? No, but by virtue of the meaning that I gave to it, it became a different experience. So nothing we see has any inherent meaning outside of what we're giving to it. The other concept within this idea that nothing has any meaning is that when we look through the body's eyes, we're only seeing a tiny fraction of the picture, so we can't actually know or draw any conclusions. For example, the visible light spectrum that we see, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, is this big on the spectrum of wavelengths and frequencies that exist. So we're only seeing this much through the body's eyes, and that's the same for what we can hear, what we can taste, what we can touch. It's a very limited aperture through which we experience this universe. So when we try to say that we think we know, we've drawn a conclusion, we're judging this and we're putting this in a box of analysis, we're basically saying we understand this island when all we can see is a grain of sand. We're trying to judge the island based on a grain of sand. And so we can't really understand the big picture just yet, meaning anything we think we know is based on a fractal, a fracture, and we don't really know what we're looking at. So there's a sense of humility here that when we look out, the Course is basically trying to draw us back from all of our drawn conclusions, out of the consciousness, the state of consciousness of I know this, because that's a closed state of mind. And in that state of mind, we're typically not willing to take in new information, to see things differently. And when we step outside of that state of consciousness of I know, I need, we step into the realm of curiosity, of humility, of surrender, of how can I see this differently? Oh, what more is there to explore? Does this go deeper? Does this go higher? Can I see myself differently? Does life have more colors to offer? Is there something else to see here, to feel, to sense, to experience? So it's basically trying to take us from I know this, which is this very stagnant, stuck, closed-minded, dark state of mind, into open, expansive eyesight and mind sight and heart sight of what more is there? How can I see this differently? Please show me, let me explore, let me be curious. So it's trying to take us out of our stagnation. And then the last idea is that through the body's eyes and through the mind, because the mind is a memory keeper. All it knows is what it has experienced. So everything we think we know in this present moment is usually based on a past experience, something that has already come and gone. It doesn't exist anymore, but we've drawn a sharp, done, finished, bow-tied conclusion about who we are and what life is based on a past experience. For example, a parent said something to us when we were 11 or when we were 16, and we decided, all men are not trustworthy, or, if I do this, then I'm not a good person, or I have to be a certain way in order to be accepted and useful in this world. We have all these conclusions about who we are and what the world is and what our relationship is. And when we judge the world based on our past, we're judging the world based on something that is no longer here. And again, we've closed ourselves off to the possibilities that rest in this present moment. So it's trying to, again, the Course is trying to take us out of this state of consciousness where we've basically put on the glasses, the lens of the past, going, I already know how this goes. I already know the end of this story. I already know what's going to happen if I interact with that person. I already know what's going to happen here. I know. To take those off and put on a different pair of glasses, how can I see this differently? The Buddhist concept is the past is healed in the present moment. So when we perceive and when we are willing to see things differently, everything changes. Something that was so traumatizing in childhood can be healed in the present moment because of a shift, because of forgiveness, because of coming home to our wholeness. And instead of adopting someone else's story as our reality, we give that back. And we write our own story. We decide our own identity. That was your story. Okay, this is mine. The past is healed in the present, but only when we're willing to put down our old interpretations of things and reinterpret, see things differently. And we can only do that when we're willing to come into the present moment with fresh new eyes. Okay, what's new here? What can I see differently? Where can I let go of old burdens? How can I see this world anew? It's basically taking us out of I know, I need, drawn conclusions, and back into curiosity and exploration and a freedom. Because when we are curious and when we are receptive, life, intuition, the universe, love, spirit, God can come through and reveal and flow and teach and guide. And then we are in a co-creative, an honestly present, co-creative, powerful relationship with life instead of this separate, pushing away relationship with it. And so the Course in Miracles lesson, nothing I see has any meaning, is just asking us to spend a single day in curiosity, in open-mindedness and open-heartedness, rather than closed-minded, looking through the lens of the past. Open-minded, looking through the open lens of the present moment. How can I see things differently? Show me, instead of I know. I am an open vessel. I hope this helps. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Have a beautiful day.